Welcome to Silver Creek Baptist Church. On Sunday, August 25th, 2019, we celebrated our 59th church anniversary. The theme was Remain Faithful, 1 Corinthians 15th chapter, 58th verse. The spoken word was delivered by Pastor Jack O. Batiste from New Testament Missionary Baptist Church.
5 blocks on the He just has a way of bringing the Spirit of God into the midst. And I count it a blessing that we can share in this service at this hour on this day, giving God the praise and giving Him the honor. This is the church's 59th year of celebrating with God. And I can tell you personally that Sister Adams, I didn't know Reverend Adams, but I fell in love with her. And my wife will tell you every time I meet a God-fearing woman over 70 or 75, I'll fall in love. I love the spirit that they come in because they come with humility. And they come with the dream of one day being absent from the body, but present with the Lord. And so if you find me enamoring a woman of age, it's because I want to be one day in the hereafter, in the midst, where all of God's children are found. It is indeed a pleasure that I stand here. And I give not only my brother in Christ the praise and the honor, and I want to thank those of us that are seated on the pulpit. Reverend Corey Cooper is like both a brother, a son, and a fellow in the fellowship of Christ. Amen. We talk probably more than any other preacher that I know, and it is an honor for me to ask him just to stand up, to raise his hand, to let you know that he is in kingdom building for our Lord. Amen. And his church is at Greater Ebenezer. Now he might look like a small piece of leather, but let me tell you one thing about him. He's well put together. And then let me tell you about the book of wisdom that sits over here to my left. He's been with us about 6 months, and I tell you what, I thought that I was a pastor, but oftentimes I think that I'm answering to the pastor. Oh, he will tell you in a minute exactly how he feels, and I like that because I like honesty and I like straightforwardness. If you can't be honest with me, I don't want you around. And so I count it a joy that I can say, I know these two and I know these three, but I don't want to stop there. My brother-in-law sits in front of me. All right. Amen. And I like the way he moves. God is blessing his every movement. I can recall when he was on a bed with tubes coming so hard and so many times up his body. We wondered what he would do. 42 days he labored in the hospital. But God released him. That's right. He's had some trials and some tribulations. But what I love about him is that his faith is not here on earth, and it's not on them, but it's and I know when he's called on, he will respond. He'll say, here I am, Lord. Here I am. Not only use me, but receive. I want you to know that I'm honored to know I just met you a short time ago, brother. It's a joy to hear you speak. I thought that he should have called you Brady Russell. Yes, right. And then hold on, Brother Brad, you're not going anywhere. Come on now. Because you told him, let me tell you like it is. Then we had the sisters. I don't know where I first heard you. It might have been here, but I fell in love with you. Amen. And I'm yet in love with you. I love how you bring the Spirit of God into churches. Amen. For God be all glory. So with you three, Brother Craft, Brother Danny Carlton, Sister Bobby Smith, thank you for bringing the words of encouragement and nurturing to us. Because there's never enough. We can always grow. And I can tell you now in the presence of your pastor, I'm still in love with you. Yes, Sister Cassie, I'm walking here thinking that they're going to let you not sing. I touched Pastor and said, you better come up here. And I want you to know, Sir Joy, if we can't enjoy the Spirit of God in the house of God, what purpose are we? We didn't come here with a proud head and anger, full of agony. And sometimes we say we save the best for last. In church, I want you to know I have a soul. Come on now. A soul. Oh, yeah. All right. And it is a good soul. Yes, Lord. Yes, Lord. She's quiet. deep, deep, and deep. I want you to know that she's a person that I fell in love with, not out of the church. Amen. In the church. Amen. When I asked the Lord, I said, Lord, celebrate. I've been studying the word, I've been walking in your way, and I need someone to spend the rest of my life. Yes, Lord. Yes, Lord. And I said, you know, I'm accustomed to giving orders, but on this request, I'm humble. Amen. About 6 weeks later, we're sitting in church. She gets up, I can hardly see her height. But something kept going, pum, pum, pum. Yeah. And I said, Lord, you talking to me? And he said, yeah, I'm learning to who she is. And I kept rejecting. I said, well, she's too short. I mean, every excuse I could find, I was using it. Finally, he whispered in my ear. When they say God doesn't talk to you, let me tell you, if the need is great enough, he will speak to you where you can hear him. And he said, but you said you'd have nothing to do with it. You're talking about being undressed in the presence of the Lord. I was undressed. Yes. He said, I'm not through with you. I'm going to punish you. Come on now. The service is over. And she's got her baby. He ain't a baby no more. That's another little piece of love. That's right. Brother, I would trade places with him any day for his testimony to stand up for the fight. They were coming down the outside aisle, and I said, I'm going to block him and introduce myself. God said, I will make you look like a demon with. I block the door, and I'm going to say, hi, how are you? And I don't know you, but. And all I can say, but I'm telling you the truth, church. I looked at her, and she looked at me, she said, so I looked down at this 6 or 7 year old and I said, your mom tells your mother, I said, hello, perfect age. Yeah. And he looked at me like, why don't you tell her? But then he said, no, Mama, this is what he said. And she spoke back to me. I said, your mom will tell you. I said, hello. And I said, I got it now. And I jumped up to start speaking. And then I went right back. I could not say the word hello. All I could say was she grabbed my hand. God said, don't take me to play with when you ask me for something. Get something when I give it to you. From that day until this one, I can't tell you that the walk has been the most enjoyable and the most miracle. No. You walk together in faith. That's right. Amen. You share your ups and your downs. That's right. But if you hold on to his unchanging hand, God is a gracious God, a loving God, a kind God, a merciful God, and a good God. And I come today to tell you, I'm happy to be in the kingdom of our Lord. I don't know if I've done enough accolades in recognizing the people, but if it didn't call your name from places, I don't love you. Amen. Because if you're a child of God, if you're in the house of the Lord, I love you. Come on. I love you because of what you are and who you are. And if you don't mind, would you open your Bible to the Old Testament as Reverend Lee would say on the left-hand side. And would you go to 1 Kings and the 18th chapter. And we're going to start with verse 1 and we're going to read through verse 6. If you don't mind, those of you who can stand, would you just stand with us? 1 Kings, the 18th chapter, verses 1 through 6. You have to bear with me. My eyes are not the best. So I've got it printed where I can see. You ready? Right. Would you read along with me? And it came to pass after many days that the word of the Lord came to Elijah in the 3rd year, saying, Go, show thyself unto Ahab, and I will send rain upon the earth. And Elijah went to show himself unto Ahab, and there was a sore famine in Samaria. And Ahab called Obadiah, which was his governor of the house. Now Obadiah feared the Lord greatly, for it was so that when Jezebel cut off the prophets of the Lord, who was Jezebel? Then Obadiah took 100 prophets and hid them 50 by 50 in a cave, and fed them with bread and water. And Ahab said unto Obadiah, go into the land, unto all the fountains of water, and unto all the brooks, peradventure that we may find grass to save our horses and our mules alive, that we lose not all of the beasts. And as Obadiah was in the way, behold, Elijah met him, and he knew him, and he fell on his face and said, art thou my Lord Elijah? Wow. And Elijah responded, I am. Now go tell your Lord, behold, Elijah is here. And then he said in return, and now thou sayest, go tell my Lord, thy Lord, behold, Elijah is here, and he shall slay thee. And Elijah said, as the Lord of hosts liveth, before whom where I stand, I will surely show myself unto him to thee. So Obadiah went to meet Ahab and told him. And Ahab went to meet Elijah. And it came to pass that when Ahab saw Elijah, look at the cynicism in which he spoke, that Ahab said unto him, art thou he who troubleth Israel? And he answered and said, it is you.
Yeah.
I have not troubled Israel, but thou and thy father's house, that ye have forsaken the commandments of the Lord, and thou hast followed Balaam. May the Lord add a blessing to the reading of his precious and his holy word, and ye may be seated.
Amen.
We want to talk a little bit about the marvel of the Spirit. God called a servant and told that servant, go and chastise the king of Israel. And there were two Israels in that day. One was the nation that was united. The second was a nation that was divided by sin and through sin. And when God told his prophet Elijah to go to Israel, it was to the northern kingdom. And they had a king who had fallen in love. But not with the child of God. Not with one of his own lineage. But one who was a pagan worshiper. And her name happened to have been Jezebel. And I have another term for calling her. I won't use it in here. But I want you to know that Jezebel was a Jezebel. And we will talk about her. But God didn't send you to go and deal with Jezebel right now. But he sent him to go and talk with the king, who was responsible for doing things to his children and his people that were not acceptable. You see, when Ahab fell in love, he didn't ask God for a wife. He allowed the lust in his eyes, the lust in his heart, to go out and said, I got to have that. Let me tell you, when you don't follow in his wishes and his commands, we have trouble. Is there any that fan up? I believe someone's going on. You know it's going to reach up. You're going to have the Lord take up line in place. Yeah, we all right. I'm sorry for the interruption. And when this happened, Elijah went before King Ahab and said, I'm here to charge you with being disobedient.
Lord have mercy.
I'm here to charge you with being a sinner. I'm here to charge you with bringing disruption in the house of the Lord. Elijah was sent by God. Ahab was standing there saying, don't you know who I am?
Lord have mercy.
When I think about Ahab, I think about someone that's in the White House. Right now, that's becoming the outhouse. Not because of the morality of the building, but because of the immorality of the person standing there representing the White House. And so Ahab said, you are the person that has caused us grief. And I want you to know a man of faith stood up. He said, no, not me. Because you haven't done what the Lord, our God, said for you to do.
Well,
Church, I want you to know when we are disobedient to God, He gave us a will to do right or a will to do wrong. And Ahab chose to follow the dress tail and not the will of the Father, who sent him to do what he should have done. Because of all the kings that were in the northern kingdom, Ahab was the greatest sinner of all, because he allowed pagan worship to dwell within the house of the Lord. He promised Jezebel that, honey, if you join me, I'm not going to separate you from your God. I'm not going to separate you from your religion, but I'm going to have you to bring that religion with us into Israel. And I'm going to build you a temple so that you can have your pagan gods worship. Isabel said, I got him now. When she won his heart and she could control his religion, she had him. It wasn't that she was stronger. It was that she knew more what she was doing and who she was serving. Because he was hanging out and not hanging in. God saw fit to bring some changes into his and into her life. So, Pastor, I want to see 15 years of standing on the promises. 15 years of preaching the word. 15 years of fighting a battle. And what I love about your theme is that you say in your theme, remain ye faithful, not unto the world, but unto the Lord. God have a job. And this is how he said, I'm going to confront you, but I want witnesses to what's going on. Send for all of the people in Israel. Bring them to Mount Carmel, because we're going to have a showdown. And we're going to find out whose God is greater. Come on. A showdown. Ahab was honored. Because he looked at him and he said, you one man and I got 450 behind you. You see, it isn't the volume. No, it isn't the quantity that matters. It's the quality that counts. And he was standing on a God that couldn't fail him. He was standing on a God that he had a personal relationship with. Because at that juncture in time, the prophet of God had confidence and faith that whatever he asked in the name of the Father, he would grant him, because he's doing the will of the Father and not the will of man. He said, this is what we're going to do. Well, keep your prophets over there. And I want you to send for 2 bulls. We call them bullocks in the Bible. But I know them better as a bull, because to me a bull is masculine. Send for them. And I want you to separate them. And I want you to slaughter both. And I want you to clean both. And I want you to cut both. Because we're going to put your bull on the wood. I'm going to put mine on the altar. And we're going to have a contest to see who God is going to set fire and burn the sacrifice. And if your God does, I fall. If mine does, you fall. The scene is set. Everything is done. So, Ezekiel says to him, him as often as you need, as much as you need, and have him to come and burn the sacrifice before all of Israel. They started calling in the morning. Where are you, Lord? Val, come on down, because you can burn the sacrifice.
Come on down.
At midday, they called. In the early afternoon, they called. At nighttime, they called. And there was no response. And he said, do you think that your God is on vacation? You know, he started saying, my God will allow me to do anything that I ask for. But you see, your God isn't the God that created the world. Your God is a God that created and controlled your mind. But he doesn't have any control over the nature, force of nature. And so when they gave up on the Lord, their God, bringing what they needed, and that was to burn the sacrifice. Then this is what Elijah said. He fell on his knees. And I can see him stretching his hands right now. We don't know how to get on our knees, Sister Father, I stretch my hands to you know what I'm talking. I know. If thou remove it, thyself will be government shall. And he said, Lord, I need you right now. I need you. I need you to come and prove that you are the God that I say that you are. Why don't you come and burn the sacrifice?
Come on now.
And then he called himself. He said, but don't even get wrong. He said, see those 4 containers over there, those 4 barrels? Get them full of water. Water and fire will not mix. They don't coexist. He said, take those 4 barrels and pour it all over the sacrifice. And they poured it on the sacrifice and the altar and the ground and everywhere water just sat. He said, do it a second time. Do it a third time, because I want you to know that the God I serve is an awful God, a good God, and a mighty God. Father, he said, now Lord, if you are my God, prove to these people who are worshiping an idol God that you are the God of Israel. And instantaneously the fire sat down. The fire consumed all that was there. Not only the altar, not only the wood, not only the sacrificial bullocks. It consumed the water that was in the trenches. And the people looked around and said, my God, what a mighty God that you have. And they said, now we know, Elijah, that the God that you have is the God of Israel. And God said, don't think that you're going to let the sinner get off. He told the folk of Israel, take those 450.
Take them.
Jezebel. Followers and believers. And put the knife to them. Get rid of them.
Get rid of them.
They're undeserving. They don't need to be here. They don't need to be in with us. And I have you to know,
Well,
Obadiah went home to tell his wife Jezebel what a marvelous feat that God did to prove who was the Lord in the God of Israel.
well,
Jezebel being the proud, the prophetess, the sinner, and the believer. We say in church, for come on. Have you to know? She said, don't think that Elijah's going to get over you.
well,
Take a message to him.
take them back.
Tell him that by tomorrow this time, he's going to be just as those 450 plus prophets that he killed. I'm going to get him.
Come on, man.
Now, I'm saying all that to say something.
Well,
When we are going through trials and tribulations, when we're having a rough time being on the job in school, whatever we're faced with, and we feel that we have there no one to provide, we look up and say, Father, I stretch. Won't you come to my rescue? Won't you come to my aid? Won't you come to my help? Deliver me over this trial and this tribulation.
Yes.
And isn't it amazing?
Amazing.
The greater the faith that we have in him, the greater the reward.
That's right.
And so he comes and he releases us and gives us the victory. And the moment we get the victory, we forget who God is. We have to be careful about whose faith we have.
Very careful. Oh, yes.
The theme is remain faithful.
Remain faithful.
Not be ye faithful, but remain faithful until the
Oh,
Lord.
yes, yes.
Now let's give some examples.
Well,
I want to start with Katrina. When we came back from Katrina, the lower Ninth Ward was so devastated, it was an embarrassment to try to ride through.
yes, embarrassing.
When I got to look at New Testament Baptist Church, every pew, every piece of furniture was washed from the choir stand, the pulpit, the church, to the front door of the
Front
church.
door. Front door.
And I said, Lord, what are we going to do? I had to decide, would I be a builder for my home, for my family, would I be a builder for God's church? And he said, don't worry about the house. You build my church. When I look to the right, your house, baby. Your house, you live next door.
Oh, yes.
That house was flat on the ground.
Lord, have mercy.
Didn't even stand 2 feet tall. As depressed it was into the ground. Look down the street. Everywhere we look, we saw devastation. And I only knew one way to deal with it. I said, Lord, I don't know what I'm doing, how I'm doing, or why I'm going to do it, but I need you to guide.
I mean,
And slowly but surely, he directed our path.
yeah.
Building the church before we thought about building the home. 2.5 years later, we rededicated the church and have been having a glorious occasion in that house. In the fellowship with our Lord in church, I want you to know something. Don't think that Satan is not alive. Just when we got up and we were running at a face, he sent the wolf in there dressed as the sheep. And don't tell me that because you got people in your membership that they have a closer walk and a relationship with God that exceeds the world. Because within a short time from the time that wolf got in there, he was creating chaos. But just as we depend upon God to deliver us, I said to him, Lord, I don't know what to do. I don't know how to do it. He said, peace, be still. Know that I am your God. Come on. Let me tell you how he got the news of the wolf.
Well,
They decided that they were going to have a church meeting.
a meeting.
And they called me
This is things straight.
and said, we're having a church meeting at such and such a time, and we expect you to be there.
We'll get some things straight.
You talking about faith? Went to the church meeting. And I said to them, it is a standard that any time there's a church meeting, the pastor controls the meeting.
That's right.
And I need to find out who called this meeting.
That's right.
God had that wolf stand up. He said, I am the one. I called this meeting. And he started walking to the front. And I sat patiently and said, well, if you call this meeting, would you show me your credentials? Would you let me see who authorized you to be pastor? Would you show me your credentials, who you were in school with? When were you ordained? I need to see those facts before I surrender this pulpit in this church to you. And he was sitting there and he couldn't say anything. I said, come on. You come in. Just prove the point. Who you are. And he couldn't. So I just said to the church, you chose your pastor. God bless the pastor. He rebuilt this church. He rebuilt it and I remain pastor. And I'll tell you what, I'm going to remain pastor until he decides that you will not be pastor and not this man. Within a week, he and his family packed their bags and eased on. God showed me that in faith, I didn't have to fight.
That's right.
He fought my fight for me. He fought my battle for me. Because I remained faithful to him. I'm going to step out of the church. We have homes all around us.
Well,
People may not have had insurance.
uh-huh.
But when they lost their homes, many of them said, there is no reason for me to live. I'm just going to give up and die from the memories that I have experienced. And a lot of people died.
Lord, have mercy.
But for those who had faith, they said, we know that there is a way.
There's a way.
And when road home came and they started giving out the grants and the monies, people started going.
Yes.
Some did what they were supposed to do.
Amen.
Those are the ones I call people.
All right. Amen.
When they got their money, they started reinvesting into their properties and homes and saying, we need a place that we can call the home that we used to live in.
Yeah.
Amen.
The other said,
Yes, sir.
we've been burdened. We need to go parties.
Come on.
We need to go
Come on.
live in the casino and get rid of some of this tension. We need to take a cruise. We need to buy a new car. We need to buy new clothes.
Oh, yeah.
And you see, they lost focus
Focus.
of their faith in the Creator who gave us all that we have. And when we look to the right and we look to the left, we find many today that don't have a home.
That's right.
Well,
Yes,
And as
Lord.
my parents used to say, if you aren't careful, you won't have a pot either. Or a window is going down. Church, I want you to know that for those of us who remain faithful,
Yes, Lord.
God is a good God. And He's not going to let us fall. But let me
That's
tell
right.
you about Elijah.
Come on.
When the word came to him, he got fearful.
yeah.
And he did what many of the people in our age and day did when the reward came.
Uh-huh.
They forgot about God.
Yes.
The world sat in on him.
Well,
And I could see Satan saying, who do you think you are?
well,
You just a nobody. That was a freak occurrence wherein then people were killed. Don't you know that we're coming for you?
yeah.
And old Elijah surrendered his faith for fear
Well,
and started running. Many of us do the same thing.
Yes. Yes.
When we're faced with a trial,
Uh-huh.
when we're faced with tribulation, when we're faced with fears, we forget about God
Lord, have mercy.
and we see who we are. I know what Proverbs 3:5 says, trust in the Lord with all thy heart. Lean not to thine understanding. In all thy ways, not some. Acknowledge him and he shall direct our pathways.
Yes, you will.
Satan will come and say, you
Come
don't
on
need
now.
God. Let me show you a good time.
Yeah.
Let me show you that dress tail that's marching down the side.
Yeah.
Let me show you that car that you've been dreaming about. Let me show you that trip that you've been talking about.
Yeah.
Let me show you them fine restaurants that's waiting to serve you and to feed you and to take
Come
your
on
money.
now.
Come on, let's have a good time.
Yes. Yes.
We fall
Sure enough.
to Satan every day because we fail to remain faithful to our Lord. And let's come back to the church. Jesus said there will be trials
Right.
and tribulations,
That's right.
but we're not to be.
That's
Well,
right. That's right.
Because when we take our burdens,
Sugar.
Well,
I like what Psalms 23:1 says, for the Lord is my shepherd,
I shall know.
and I shall not want.
Yes.
If you think about a shepherd, think about a strong man in your family.
yeah.
Could have been an uncle. Could have been your daddy. Could have been your grandpa.
Yeah.
Could have been someone who had the goodwill and the well-meaning of people in front of himself. And where there came a need, he would stand up and say, I'm standing on the promises of God. Because where there's faith and where there's a will, there's a way.
Yes, Lord. Yes, Lord.
And he would lead us
Yes.
from possible defeat into total victory. And church, the same remains today.
Oh, yes.
We need to be in a closer walk with the Lord our God.
Amen.
Can you see?
Well,
Many times we can't hear him. But I love the way he works. When we call on him, we are living in an age of faith.
oh yeah.
We call him A-S-A.
Mhm.
Lord, not when you want to. But I'm telling you, give me what I'm asking for as soon as possible.
Yes, Lord.
See, that's a man who is wise, as Proverbs 3:9 be not wise in thine own eyes. And see, when we get cocky, full of pride,
Lord, have
full of
mercy.
self, that's what we stand on. I want it because I want it.
Yeah.
God says, all right, let me back out.
Yeah.
Now you get it. The Saints won the game last night because they had a defense.
Yeah.
When we say that, he says, all right, you go ahead. I'm turning my back on you. Have it your way.
Have it your way.
Since you won't accept what I'm going to do, you solve your dilemma. That's why so many people today have left the church. Because they want God to be a spare tire. I don't want to use you. Don't want to call on you until there's a need. But when I call on you, you better be able to deliver. God answers and says, I am an ASAP God.
Yeah.
But I don't come as soon as possible. I come as slowly as possible because those who are calling on me, I want to know that they are with me. I want to know that they are in me. I want to know that they're believing in thus says the Lord.
Yeah.
There ain't no substitute
Oh, no.
when it comes to giving honor to whom honor is due. He allows us to give honor to our earthly parents. He says, honor thy mother and thy father, that thy days may be long upon this land. And that we're to give honor to our earthly mother and father, as we can do to the God who created us, who gave us free air, who gave us the clouds that bring us covering and bring us water, that sends the sun to give us warmth and to give us vegetation and to feed the animals and the plants that we can live. Who? But God. That's what I love about him. And yet he's a sovereign God. But when we give him honor and we give him praise, there are great things in store. Jesus, in the 14th chapter of John, is talking to his disciples. Let not your heart be troubled. For you who believe in God, believe also in me. In my Father's house are many mansions. Church, let me tell you something. I saw some of these got some mansions. Many mansions. And if we're not sure what he told you, well, what I like about it, he says the mansions that I'm talking about are not made with hands. They are in the eternal home of our Father. I'm leaving you, but I'm going to prepare a place for you. And if you stay in me, I in you. I will return, I will come again. That wherever I am, ye may be also.
Amen.
And then what I love about it, I've never heard anyone talking about in heaven their sickness. Never heard anyone talking about their bills to pay. I never heard anyone talking about there are neighbors who giving you a rough time. I never heard anything about taxes going up.
That's right.
And we went to a meeting just 2 weeks ago, and we said to the people representing our tax czar, how can you talk about raising the taxes in this area, in this community, 100% when you're not paving the streets?
Come on.
When you're not putting lighting on the street, when you don't have any police protection here? How can you? And their response was, our department is not to regulate the amount of the tax. We just enforce it. You see, those statements brought a little bit of fire. And I know how to deal with Satan. I could only say to the people that possess that, I can't affect it. But the God that we serve will affect you. And I'm saying to you, have it your way. But God will prevail in the end. And I'm saying to you, church, if there's a problem, don't you get between the problem and God. You give it to him and stand back. And you say to him, Father, have it your way. Because if you remain faithful in him, he will remain faithful in you. And we say to you, that's what the church is all about. Remaining a faithful servant, and remaining a faithful body, and remaining a faithful church, in the name of the Father, and the Son, and the Holy Ghost. And as you said, Sister Smith, another 59 years. And we'll be celebrating 118 year anniversary of this church. I can thank God. I don't know if you can, but I'll tell you one thing. We want God to be in the midst. We want Him to be soothing those who are hurt. And we want Him to be lifting up those who are in pain. And we want Him bringing a solution to the problems where there exists. Because He said, I shall supply your every need. And He said to you, each of you, as we go on in this year of 2019 and 2020, may God be with you. May God rest with you. May God glorify your work. As long as we remain faithful to our love, to our trust in our Lord and Savior, and we say to God, be all the glory.
Silver Creek Baptist Church would like to thank all that participated, those that were in attendance, and those that faithfully keep us lifted in prayer. May God continue to move in your lives. Be blessed.